Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Kmetris, empowerment consultant, coach, and abuse advocate. Remember, on my last video, I shared 5 key components to overcoming. 5 key components to overcoming. The first one is identifying. And remember, in order to overcome anything or something, you must first be able to identify or recognize what it is that you are endeavoring to overcome. Because often we are in these type of situations and we are unaware of it. So there is power in identifying it. And so first, let us identify what abuse is. So abuse is the improper usage, and I'm looking at my notes, or treatment of a person or thing, often to unfairly or improperly gain benefit. Abuse can come in many forms, such as physical, verbal, maltreatment, emotional, mental, injury, assault, violation, sexual, molestation or rape, unjust practices, crimes, or other types of aggression. The reason why we are defining abuse is because of the normalcy of it. Many really don't realize it or recognize it in their lives. So we could never assume that people know, because most don't. So it shows up during our childhood years, called child abuse, well into our adult years, called domestic abuse or domestic violence. And it is an epidemic in the United States throughout our homes, jobs, churches, schools, and so forth. So there are 4 types of child abuse. 4 types of child abuse. The first one is child neglect. Neglect is failing to supply the child's basic needs, such as food, clothing, or shelter, or when the child is not properly supervised or kept safe. This also includes educational and emotional neglect. So an uninvolved or unresponsive or dismissive parent is also a neglectful parent. Physical abuse. Any intentional act causing injury or trauma to another person by way of bodily contact, such as hitting, punching, kicking, choking, or any other type of physical force. Both a spouse and children may be victims of physical abuse. The third one, sexual abuse and assault. This is an unwanted act in which a person intentionally sexually touches another person without that person's consent, or coerces or physically forces a person to engage in a sexual act against their will. It is a form of sexual violence, which includes child sexual abuse, groping, rape, forced vaginal, anal, or oral penetration, or a drug facilitated sexual assault, or the torture of the person in a sexual manner. Number 4, emotional abuse. And this also includes verbal, mental, and psychological. And this is emotional abuse is an abusive behavior that is not physical. This can include verbal aggression, intimidation, manipulation, and humiliation, which most often unfolds as a pattern of behavior over time. The focus of emotional abuse is to break the victim down by diminishing them and their sense of identity, dignity, and self-worth. Emotional abuse often leads to stress and anxiety. So let's recap. The 4 main types of abuse are child neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse, which includes verbal, mental, and psychological. There is power in identifying. Now we can make a decision to what to do with what we know at this point. That's it for today's segment. And remember, applied knowledge is power. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you hit the notification bell at the top of the page. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Hi, I am Kmetris, empowerment consultant, coach, and abuse advocate. Did you know that there is a hidden epidemic of child abuse and neglect in the U.S.? Every year, more than 3 million reports of child abuse are made in the United States, losing on average between 4 and 7 children every day. It is a widespread war against our children that we have the power to bring to an end. To do this, we must first increase awareness of the issue itself. In my book, The Power to Overcome, I bring awareness to childhood abuse, the effects of it in teenagers and adults, and guidance on how to overcome it. If you have ever experienced any form of childhood abuse, whether neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, exploitation, or emotional abuse, this is the book for you. This book will guide you through the process of identifying your abuse to rediscovering your true identity through choosing to exercise the power within you to heal. So go and get your copy today on Amazon.com. And remember, you have the power to choose to overcome. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel at I Am Kmetris.